Hey everybody, it's Shane and I'm back in the Level Up V2. This is the 737-800 with my custom flight model tweaks. Tonight we're going to be flying down to Burbank from Sacramento, California. And I'm going to be doing this step by step and doing my whole checklist and kind of going through everything to help some new pilots learn how this aircraft works and some of the integration with SimBrief, Navigraph, all that stuff. So over here on the left, or right here in front of you actually, this is my custom X checklist that I've made for myself. I'll make it available to anybody who wants it. Hey, what's up, Flight Edits? Welcome aboard. It's always nice to have a new X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator convert to X-Plane. I mean, once you get to fly this thing, you're going to realize what you've been missing your whole life. So welcome aboard. I'm going to help you learn some stuff here tonight. So this is my custom checklist that I've made for myself, but I'll make it available to anybody who wants it. This is not airline specific. This is not like real world ops. This is what I do so that I don't forget to do stuff when I'm flying single pilot. So this is not real world checklist. It's my checklist. That being said, when I follow this, I don't miss stuff. So let's go ahead and start from the top. First of all, I'm going to check the landing gear lever to make sure it's down because sometimes it's not. It's on off. So I keep it down. Okay, then I'm going to release the parking brake by pressing the brakes. Don't need those on. Okay, on the overhead, hit the battery power, which is right here. Just close the guard. And then ground power on. And turn this flashlight off. Alright, cockpit lighting set as desired. So I'm going to start with all the panel lights. Turn those to about the midway position because that's all you need. Panel light bright here. Then right here, we're going to go panel light to mid. A little notch of lights on that. Panel light mid. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and turn down my display units to about here because we're going to be flying at night and I don't need these super bright. So I'm going to turn those down. Turn the FMCs down a little bit. And turn these two down as well. Keeps the glow down. Alright. And then lights test. We're going to set that to test. I'm going to make sure all the lights work on my overhead panel. Make sure all the lights come on here. And on the center pedestal. That looks good. And then we're going to sit back down to dim. Alright, Mach airspeed warning. Up at the top here, I'm going to press this one. Alright, that's done. Now we're going to do the stall test, but the power has to be on the jet for 4 minutes for these to work. You'll notice nothing's happening. We'll come back to that. Okay, IRS switches to nav, left and right. Okay, now I'm going to go down to this overhead panel and do window heat on, probe heat on, emergency light switch, guard closed, seatbelt signs I'm going to leave off for now. And I'll explain why in a little bit. So leave chime and fasten seatbelts off for now. Because we're going to be using airside service to load the aircraft. And you'll need these switches to get the packs on board. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay. Let's see here. The overhead. Logo lights. Or nav lights are on. Logo lights on. Wing lights not on. Wheel wall lights don't need it. GeForce system test.
Glide slope. Pull up. Wind shear.
Okay, fire overheat test.
Wind
it's gonna
shear.
be here.
Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle.
Okay, cargo fire overheat test.
Pull up. Airspeed low.
Alright, EFIS panel. That's gonna be this guy right here. Here's how I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna go on my side, left side, plan, range 40, position data. On this side, I'm going to keep it on map, turn the range to minimum, position, and data. Takeoff warning system test. All right, make sure that works. It works. All right, now we're going to get into the weight and balance stuff, and this is where you got to know what you're doing. So weight and balance. Here's how I'm going to do it. We're going to use the electronic flight bag, but first I'm going to go over to SimBrief, and I've already run this flight plan for myself, right? So this is our flight plan down to Burbank. Once you've run it and you've created it, I'm going to go down to flight plan downloads, go all the way to the bottom and get Zebo mod. Now I know we're flying a level up, but the level up uses the Zebo mod the same as Zebo does. They use the exact same cockpit architecture and coding. So I'm just going to download that. Okay, once it's downloaded, I'm going to take the file that it creates, which is right here. Alright, I'm going to take this file and I'm going to put it in a folder called FMS Plans, which is an X-Plane 12 output FMS Plans. So just take this file and drop it in there. Okay, this is an X-Plane specific folder, and this is what we're going to need to do. So you take that flight plan, drop it right there. Okay. Now, on the EFB, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Fuel, Weight, and Balance, go over to Airside Services. Okay, it says not active. So then click this arrow right here. You're going to load OFP. Watch what happens. Okay, it just loaded the flight plan that we created in SimBrief, and that you put in the FMS plans. Oh, well, good. Well, there you go. This is how you do it. I don't know if you've gotten this far with it, but if you have, good. So the thing with the level up is it uses the exact same plugin as the Zebo mod. So they have an agreement that they're going to share this technology with each other, which is great because if you can fly the Zebo, you can fly the level up. All the switches are the same, all the commands are the same, everything's the same. You just have different sounds, different look, a different flight model, but all of this coding is the same. All right, once we load that flight plan, now we're going to click activate. Okay. So you'll see in a second the cargo and the fuel will start loading. Don't mind that gate. It's just doing weird stuff over there. Okay, cargo's loading. Refueling. Now, to get the passengers on board, what you need to do is you go up to your overhead panel and you flip chime to on and fasten seatbelts to on. When you do that, you'll see this happen right here. Well, it should happen. I think they might be waiting for the refueling to be done. So we'll come back and check this. But in order for the passengers to load, you got to have the chime on and the fasten seatbelt signs on. Let's see. I want to make sure and watch this thing. Make sure it works. What's up, Andrew? Okay, loads at the fuel. That's good. We'll come back to it and verify it later. But let's press on with our setup. So, position initialization. We're going to go to FMC. We're going to go to position initialization, and you see that that's blank. So go over to next page. Copy GPS left. Go previous page and insert it right there. Okay. That will verify your FMC position. Now we're going to go to route and click flight plan request. And again, it's going to grab data from the that flight plan that you put into FMS plans. Okay. There. Once that's done, you're going to click load. Okay. Now, with this thing, it will typically load your departure runway and the departure procedure, but as far as the arrival, you usually want to check that. So, in our case, let's take a look at this flight plan. I'm going to load it up in Navigraph for those of you who know what this is. That's our flight plan, but you'll see here that the approach is not set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go click on this and check we're landing on runway 8. So now I'm going to go here and kind of just set up a procedure that I want. I'm thinking The ILS from... Let me see, what's this one? ILS Yankee from Mikey will work. So I'll load that in there. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here and look for the ILS Yankee runway 8. And we want the Mikey transition, so do that. Now go over to legs, and we're going to validate this route to make sure it's correct. So I'm going to click step and go through here and make sure this flight plan looks good with no breaks in continuity or weird waypoints or weird turns in here that don't make sense. So this flight plan looks nice and continuous, which is good. All that noise over there. Okay, if the flight plan looks good, click on route, then click activate. And execute. And you'll notice it turns magenta. What is all that noise? Dude, why is that bell going off? Okay, I'm just gonna reconnect the jetway because that's annoying. I need that bell to stop. Okay, so your flight plan is now inserted. Now we're going to go to performance initialization, and I'm going to hit performance init request. And again, it's going to grab data from that flight plan that you uploaded. Yes, sir. I am on VATSIM, and yeah, we're going to be flying here shortly. Okay, so I'm going to click load. Okay, and it's going to fill out just about everything on here except for reserves. Guys, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alright. Oh yeah, we're going to be using VNAV, LNAV, all of that. Okay, so you'll notice that I did not fill out the reserve. Let's go back over to Navigraph. Let's look at our SimBrief OFP. The number I'm going to fill in there is a final reserve plus alternate, 5,470. Okay? That's what I'm going to use, 5.5. So we're going to type in 5.5, insert that, then I'll execute that. Now I'm going to go over to M1 limit. And where am I going to get this information from? I'm going to get it from SimBrief because it actually has a pretty decent performance calculator. So I'm going to go over to takeoff performance, set this to disabled, click calculate. Alright, we're going to have a output of flaps 5, takeoff, select temperature 53. Here's our V speeds, 142, 142, 148. With 8,500 feet of runway available. If we have to stop, we'll have a stop margin of 918 feet. So we're good. So we're going to type in 53. Gives us a takeoff N1 of 93.6. So I'm going to tell you a little secret about this level up. It's got a little bug in it that they've never really fixed, where whatever number you see here, when you go to actually start the engines, it's going to drop down 1%. So I would like to maintain this N1 setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the select temperature to give it about 1% more to keep this number. You're never going to find that anywhere written. It's just something that I've learned over time. So 94.6 indicated here will be 93.6 when we start the engine. So it's just a little peculiarity of this particular aircraft. So we're going to use 49. It will end up being 93.6. And then over at takeoff, we're going to click flaps 5. And if I press this button here, it's going to fill in the CG that we get from this thing here. So if I go over to payload, you'll notice our takeoff CG is 20.7. So that's all set. Okay. Now these V speeds here are within 3 knots of what's quoted on SimBrief, so I'm going to go ahead and just go with these things. They're close enough. Alright, our FMC is now set, guys. One thing I want to do before we go any further, though, is I'm going to go over here to... what is it? I think it's... Perf? No, it's going to be... Route, takeoff, I'm gonna insert the wind as well. Let me see if I remember how to do that. I need to get the wind in here. I gotta remember how to do that. Seem to be... I don't remember how to do that. I should have done it when I had the chance. So if I go over here to... Legs... Not legs. Oh! Maybe if I go over here to map. Route data. Wind request. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to click wind request. That's what I was trying to do. Insert the wind. Okay, I'm going to hit load. Then I'm going to hit execute. Cool. And then I'm going to grab the winds on descent as well. Fill that in. Load. Yeah, I speeded up the loading and unloading speeds here in the thing so I can get moving faster. Okay, now we're all set. So I'm going to leave this on legs on the left, and I'm going to put this on takeoff on the right. So FMCs are set. Let's press on. Okay, IFR clearance. I've already filed my flight plan on X-Plane, but there's no ATC on here, so there's no IFR clearance. Yep. All of that's calculated by SimBrief for you, man. SimBrief does all that for you. That's why I like it so much. So no IFR flight plan, but we do have a squawk code here, 3272. So let's go ahead and put that in right here. 3272. Okay. Radio set for takeoff. So we got let's get the CTEF frequency for SMF here. CTEF, okay, SMF is 125.7. So let's put 125.7 in here. I'll put that on active, and standby will be Unicom. Alright, radios are set. Nav is set, so I'm not going to use any navigational aids right now for departure. We'll leave that alone. Fuel quantity is set 13.8 or 13.7 right here. Yeah, so if you don't set up your FMC correctly, VNAV is not going to work. So follow the steps that I showed you here. It will always work for you. All right, fuel quantity is confirmed. Flight altitude tonight is going to be flight level 310. So I'm going to come up here and set this to 310 plus 1000, so 320. Okay, it's just a little trick of the trade. 310 plus 1. Okay, FMC is checked and confirmed. We have legs on the left, takeoff on the right. Flight directors. All right, I'm going to turn on my webcam now, just so you guys can follow along with me. Okay, so we're going to do flight directors on left and right. Auto throttle armed. V2. I'm sorry, we're going to set MCP airspeed to V2, which is 146. Alright. We're going to grab the runway heading, which is about 170. I'll set that now. And I'll fine-tune it once I read the departure. Okay, MCP altitude. We're going to set that to our cruise altitude for now, but I may set that back down. Here, I'll speed it up. I might set that back down depending if we have any altitude constraints on departure, which I don't think we do tonight. Okay, altimeters. So, weather at SMF is 44 minutes old. Wind 1704, right down the runway. 10 miles visibility, temperature 23, altimeter 2996. So I'll put 2996 here. Auto brakes. RTO. APU. Let's start that up. So APU, and this is how you start the APU. I have bound on switches, but first you go to on. Then you hold it to start. And then back to on. Okay, you'll see the low oil pressure light come on, and then we're looking for EGT rise right here. Okay, APU starting. Now we're going to go over our departure brief. Okay, let's do departure brief. We are currently on the ground at Sacramento, gate B21. Here's our taxi plan. We're going to push away from the gate. Tail facing east. We'll plan on taxiing straight ahead on the Bravo 1. Right turn on to Alpha, all the way down to Alpha 3, and we'll depart on runway 17 right, full length departure. We are on the Foothill 3 RNAV departure. Okay, the instructions here for 17 right. Climb on heading 168 to 540 feet, then left turn direct foothill, and that's it. There's no altitude restraints or anything like that, so we're just going to do a VNAV climb out of here. No restrictions. Okay. In the event of an engine failure at or below V1, we will stop on the runway, and if able, we will vacate and come back to the gate. In the event of an engine failure or master caution, anything like that, above V1, we're going to go ahead and take it into the air and plan on coming back to land on 17 right. Now, if you want to really simulate this properly and you want to do a good job here, it would be a good idea to fill out the ILS information for the return runway just in case. So let's go ahead and do that just to be extra careful, because I do have failures enabled. They're very rare, but you never know. So 17 right, I'll pin that. And now I have the chart available if I need it. The approach course is 168, so let's set that. And the ILS frequency is 11110. Now I'll go ahead and move that over here. So now I got ILS information loaded up just in case we have to come back. Just an added safety. So again, I put in the ILS here, and now we have ILS loaded up just in case. And the identifier should be SMF, but this is iHux because it's not reading the right runway right now. That's okay. Once we get airborne and come back around, we would pick it up. Cool. Alright, what else we got to do? Open checklist. Okay, B4 start pushback checklist. We're almost ready to go. I have never flown PMDG because I don't have Microsoft Flight Simulator. The last PMDG aircraft I've flown has been the MD-11 and FSX about 15 years ago. So I don't know anything about it. Sorry to say. Okay, before start pushback checklist. Lower MFD is on engine. Doors and windows are closed. The yaw damper is on. Electric hydraulic pumps A and B are on. Fuel pumps on. Parking brake set. APU gens 1 and 2 set. Wheel chocks and ground support equipment removed. Alright, beacon lights on. trim air on. Engine bleeds off. APU bleed is on. Engine start. We're going to go ignition left. Okay, ACARS. I'm going to be using love cars for my virtual airline tonight, Southwest Virtual Airlines. Okay, ACARS is recording. And push your start.
Grounded cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Sacramento traffic, good evening. Southwest 1339. Push your start gate, Bravo 21. Tail facing east. Well, hey, Skystream,
Okay.
I have a lot of guys on
all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
I have a lot of guys on my Discord server who fly the PMDG 737s. They may be able to help you. I know several that I trust to give you good information if you're curious about that. Alright, waiting on the tug. Yeah. Head on over there.
Grounded cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
Alright guys, we'll push back to about here.
So connected and
Burbank
bypass pin
is
inserted.
always a good
Release
time.
parking brake.
Alright guys, we're ready to start. I'm going to release the parking brake and we're going to go ahead and fire up the engines. Brakes released.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright guys, let's go ahead and start 2. Hey, we'll do the windows open for some extra noise. How's this? Starting 2. Okay, rotation on 2. Okay, oil pressure's indicated, fuel on. Fuel flow, EGT. Okay, oil pressure lights out. Okay. Starter disengage, roll back, good start on good start on 1. Corrections 2, starting 1. Okay, rotation on 1. Okay, oil pressure is indicated. Fuel on. Fuel flow, EGT.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brake set.
Disconnecting
Oil pressure
tow.
light out.
Stand by.
Okay, starter valves closed. Roll back on 1. Good starts. After start checklist. Wing and engine anti-ice not required. Engine bleeds on. APU bleed off. Packs on. Isolation valve auto. Gen 1 and 2. And APU off. Alright. Way down ground signal. Let's go ahead and do taxi checklist. Flaps. Set for takeoff. Flaps 5. Snap trim. 5.37 aircraft nose up.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
Okay, see you on the right. Okay, takeoff data. V1 139, rotate 141, V2 146 on the PFD. Takeoff thrust setting 93.4. Told you how it went down, right? There it is. Transponder TARA. Taxi light. Taxi lights on. Runway turn off on left and right. Lower MFD on system. I'm gonna go ahead and do the flight control check now, so we can not have to worry about this later on. Ailerons left. Ailerons right. Elevator up. Elevator down. Rudder left. Rudder right. Alright, taxi clearance. Okay, so we're gonna taxi straight ahead on Bravo 1, right on Alpha, left on Alpha 3. Sacramento traffic, Southwest 1339, taxi to runway 17 right via Bravo 1, Alpha, Alpha 3. Okay, parking brakes released. Let's do it. Okay, nozzle steering, left, right, brakes. Okay, nozzle steering, brakes, and flight controls are checked. Taxi checklist complete. How we doing so far, guys? You all tracking? Okay, we'll make a right turn up here. Clear left. Clear right. Okay, before takeoff checklist, lower MFD. I'm going to click this twice to turn this one off and put it all up here. VNAV, LNAV, armed. ICAS, no alerts. We'll hold there. Well, it could be a control issue. I don't know, I have a steering tiller, and I also have rudder pedal steering. So this is my rudder pedals, right? So you can see very small steering inputs, and this is my nose wheel steering tiller. Quite a bit more, right? Also, I have edited flight model on this aircraft, which you can get if you'd like. But I've made some adjustments to nose wheel steering as well, so it actually handles a little better. So my steering is probably better than yours right now. Yeah, I'll show you, once we're airborne, I'll show you where you can get it. Okay, exterior lights on, Wixer on, engine start switches, continuous. Okay, parking brake set. I'm gonna get terrain on this side, and let's go ahead and close these windows up. Okay, takeoff clearance. Sacramento traffic. Southwest 1339 departing runway 17 right, foothill 3 departure. Okay. Let's go take the runway. We'll do a static takeoff for this one, crew.
Approaching 17 right.
Okay. Clear on the right, clear on the left. Nice clear sky tonight.
On runway 17 right.
Alright guys, here we go. Let's start the clock. I'm gonna dim these lights here. Let's do it. Okay. Brakes released. Power's coming up. Okay, stabilize. Set takeoff thrust. In one, toga. Thrust set.
$80 knots.
Okay, thrust hold.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up.
No nav. VNAV speed.
$1,000.
And one. Okay, speed checks flaps 1. Okay, speed checks flaps up. Okay, after takeoff checklist, landing gears up, lights off, handles off, flaps up, retract, auto brakes off, stereo lights off, start switches off. Looking good so far, guys. Okay, there's 250 knots. I'm gonna use pitch to maintain that airspeed. about 10,000 feet, I'll turn the autopilot on. Command. Hey, autopilot's got it now. Alright, there you go, guys. What do you think? How we doing? Oh yeah, so virtual airlines are just, you know, a place for you to log your hours and be part of a community. I'm in 3 virtual airlines, right? So I got Southwest Virtual, United Virtual, and I'm also in UPS Virtual Air Cargo, which is my primary airline. I'm a hub manager here, so for the Hamilton hub, I am the chief pilot here. So I have 45 pilots in my hub and I manage them. So basically this is a place for you to basically be part of a community that flies an aircraft type that you like. Oh, this is the wrong one. That's the one we want right here. And you can log your hours and stuff. So right here you can see I picked this flight from our timetable tonight and now I'm flying it and I'll get credit in my logbook for that. Which you can see I've flown quite a bit of hours for these guys, right? And I'm assigned to LAX for this guy. So yeah, so what I would recommend to you is if you find an aircraft type that you like to fly. For me, I fly a lot of MD-11 and 777 stuff. So I fly for UPS, Virtual Air Cargo, to get that in. I like to fly 737s, so then I do Southwest for that. Also United has some Airbus stuff that I fly, as well as 777 PAX stuff. So I have 3 virtual airlines, and depending on the flights and the routes that I want to do, I'll fly it for that airline to get credit in my logbook for them. And each one of them usually has a nice Discord server and a nice community that you can interact with, and share ideas and stuff like that. Right, so I do a lot of that on my channel. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. If you're interested in learning those aircraft, I got you covered. So if you go over here to my live streams, you'll see that I fly A320s, 777, the 747-200, MD-11s. I fly everything, so I can do these kinds of videos that you're seeing right now for any aircraft. And if you're interested in a virtual airline, the one I would recommend to you is this one. This is the one that I'm the chief pilot for Hamilton Hub. So you can fly 757, 767, A300, MD-11, 747, altimeter standard, 737 cargo variants. You can fly all those for us. Make sure if you do that, that you pick the Hamilton hub, because then I can be your boss. And I have the best hub with the best pilots, so keep it in mind. Okay, cross-check at flight level 190. We're all set. Okay, after takeoff checklist complete. Well, good ones in X-Plane? No. Are there some? Yes. So they have the FPS 747-800. which is not that great, but it's something. And they'll have this one will have a freighter version coming out very soon. Okay, you have this. You have the Sparky 747-400, which is okay. Has freighter mods, but is essentially a freeware plane that's been modified and improved quite a bit. But I wouldn't call it payware quality. It's okay. It's better than nothing. So you have that. It looks like they just updated it too. Oh, it might be worth looking into this. It seems like they just updated it recently, so there you go. So you do have some 747 options. We do also allow the 747-200 Velas, a freighter in UPS virtual air cargo. I fly that all the time. No, I don't know anything about Microsoft Flight Simulator. I am strictly an X-Plane guy, so I won't be able to answer any questions about that. I don't know anything about it. Really? At LAX? That's interesting. You know, I just flew into LAX yesterday in real world from Boston in a 757. So let me see the weather there. Oh yeah, broken at 900 feet. Yeah, I guess it is IFR. You're right. Oh dang, what's Burbank? Oh, Burbank is clear. Yeah, you're right. It is IFR. That's every airline has that SOP. That the runway's not a sight by decision altitude, but your decision altitude is going to be 200 feet above. 200 feet above the runway. It's only like 100 and something feet, so you'll be fine. The layer's at 900 feet, so. Yeah, I don't know anything about that Microsoft Flight Simulator stuff. Hey, top of climb's coming up here pretty quick, guys. 2,000 to go.
Thousand to go.
Check. Alright, crew, leveling off at flight level 310. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the seatbelt signs for a bit. Alright, we're cruising. And then we have 150 miles to stop and descent. 428, so about 21 minutes, and we'll head down. I'll brief the arrival about a little less than 10 minutes before top of descent. So there you go. Hope everything made sense. It was good so far. No questions. Good. That's us so far. Looks like our ATC evaporated, but that's probably okay because we're going to be doing some shenanigans at Burbank tonight anyway. The intention is to fly a go-around, and it's kind of a fun procedure because Burbank is so in tight. We basically have to do an immediate turn to the south to avoid the terrain ahead, right? So this is kind of a fun, it's kind of a fun missed approach to fly. We'll basically fly it as published to about here, and then we're just basically gonna go downwind of the runway, come back around, and pick up the ILS for one more approach in, full stop. So I gotta say, there's been a big improvement to the winds aloft up here with the latest X-Plane update, Bravo 2. I'm seeing a lot less fluctuation with the winds aloft than there have been before. Prior to this update, we were having big fluctuations on our engine parameters as the wind was bouncing all over the place, and it's a lot better now. So this is a huge improvement for me. Don't have the aircraft rocking all over the place anymore like it used to. Southwest 862, huh? Let me see if I can find you. Oh. Oh, you're still on the ground. Okay. Yep, you got quite a ways to go. I see that. Yeah, so I have my boarding speed turned way up just because I don't like to sit on the ground and wait for that. I'd rather fly the plane than simulate sitting and waiting for everybody. So I go in here, under realism, and I put align time, refuel packs, and cargo to short, just so I can get moving. Because the way I like to do my flight simming, I like to simulate flying the plane, not so much all the ground ops stuff. So that's why I haven't spent any money on real ops or sit out there and watch packs boarding. I just don't. That's not what I care about. I care about flying these planes. So I have that all set to short so I can get the plane moving quickly. That's cool. Yeah, everybody. So the Flight Factor 777 will be right up your alley. So you can go out there and put oil in your engine and spend 3 hours waiting your packs to get on board and all that stuff. I mean, it gives you all those options that you want if you're looking for that. Okay, I got a plane on TCAS here, and it's this guy. It's oh no, not this guy. It's actually over here, Southwest 1181. He's coming out of Las Vegas for San Jose. This guy won't show up on our TCAS because he's 7,000 feet above us, so he's not even a factor. So that one blip right there is the Southwest guy coming out of Las Vegas. Uh-oh. Looks like somebody's in trouble down there. And there's the, that's the Alaska Airlines 737 that we saw. But again, he's 7,000 feet above us, so he's not really a factor. In a MAX 8. And then there's the other aircraft way out there in the distance. No, the virtual airlines are almost always for any sim. Like, just about all of them support Microsoft Flight Sim and X-Plane. So, what you're going to need to do is you need to find the virtual airline that has the planes that you like that you can actually fly. So, if you're strictly an X-Plane guy, that limits you to a certain amount of planes that are out there that are worth flying. And if you're a Microsoft Flight Simulator guy, you're going to struggle to fly a 747 or a 757, 767 until the Bluebird thing comes out. So you're kind of stuck with X-Plane if you want to fly those planes for a virtual airline. So that's kind of how you evaluate what VA you join. Is does the sim that I have and that I like to fly have the planes that I want to fly that this virtual airline has? The VA does not care if you fly X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator as long as you have the plane to fly. Okay, how do you find how long I wait to start my engine so the no start engine start zone? I don't think I understand your question. Can you rephrase that question for me? Because I'm not quite understanding what you're asking. You can start engines as soon as the ground people tell you you can turn them. Alright, let's go ahead and brief this arrival. Let's run some landing data here. I'll use SimBrief for that. Landing performance, runway 8, flaps 30, let's calculate that. Okay, we're gonna use flaps 40 then, because... Woo! Alright. Flap 40. Auto brakes max. Approach speed 144. VREF 139. 1,500 feet available. 194 foot stopping effective margin distance remaining. This sounds like fun. We'll use max reverse thrust. Okay. So I'll come down here to init ref and type in 40. 139. Auto brakes max. Landing data is checked and set. Arrival information. So we are on the Rocker 3 RNAV arrival. Pick that up here. Some crossing restrictions here. Speed and altitude restrictions all the way through. The hard one we got here is going to be at Mikey. Cross that at 7,000, landing runway 8. We will transition over to the ILS Yankee runway 8 approach at Mikey. Mandatory 7,000 feet. RVR is 2.5 miles. Decision altitude is going to be 1555 baro. It's pretty high. As we cross Silex, we need to cross that at 3,700 feet. At Buddy, we need to be down to less 3,000 feet, so 2,753. Touchdown zone is at 727 feet, so that's landing altitude. The MSA is going to be 7,300 feet. In the event of a misapproach, and this is important because we are going to do a go around, climb to 1,800 feet, then a climbing right turn to 4,600 feet on heading 210 and inbound Ventura Radial BOR Radial 086 to Ventura BOR and hold. Alright. Alice frequency is 109.5. And the approach course is 079. Okay, decision altitude is 1555 barrow. Okay, that's set. Landing altitude 700 feet. Seatbelt signs. Let's get everybody back in their seats. Okay, current weather at Burbank. 32 minutes old. The wind is 130 at 6, so about a right quartering headwind. 10 miles visibility, clear skies, temperature 19, altimeter 2996, so I'll pre-fill that out here. 2996. Atlas Approach 8 is in use. Nope, you just need to be clear with your ground people. Right, so you got the guys hooked up to your, and you're pushing your engine back. They can look behind you to make sure that your engines are clear fore and aft, that there's no personnel, equipment, anything behind you. And they'll let you know when it's safe to start the engines, which tells you that there's nothing in the way, there's no fault hazard, and there's no personnel that are going to get injured. So I'm in the Air Force, and when we do engine starts for our pilots, they're parked on a ramp. We don't really push them back or pull them forward. So basically, like on the KC-135, we start 3, 4, 1, and 2. So the pilots will come on headset for the guy who's running ground and go, "Hey ground, clear me for engine start number 3." And then I'll look and make sure that my fire extinguisher guy's clear, everything's out of the way, and I'll say you're clear fore and aft engine 3. So then they'll start the engine, and then I'll call rotation. So as soon as I see the fan turning, I'll let them know that I see it, and they'll say fuel on. And then once I see the heat plume come out of the back of the engine, I'll say ignition on 3. And that's it. And then they'll go, "All right, clear me fore and aft number 4." And I'll say, "You're clear fore and aft number 4." So on and so forth. That's how we do it in the Air Force, but we're not tugging and towing people typically when we do that. They're stationary. Okay, top of the set's coming up here pretty quick, guys. 5 miles. We should be hearing a chime right at 5 miles to go. Okay. I'll set that down to 7,000 feet for now. Okay, retard, VNAV path. Okay, we're heading down. Alright, it looks like weather is not a factor, so I'm going to switch over to terrain on my side, and I'll put Wixer on the co-pilot side. We keep an eye on that stuff as we're coming in here. I'll bet you he's not even on CTAP, dude. That happens a lot. Let's see, what's all this nonsense going on here? Oh, yep. I bet you he did it to you right about here, right? Ah, Airbus guys, dude. Can't trust them. Yeah, it's not like, I don't think collisions are really modeled online, so you could technically drive through somebody and they're not even gonna know. It's still annoying though. Okay, flight level 190, 1,000 to go for transition. Okay, altimeter is 2996.
Altimeter setting.
Right, got that. Oh, what am I doing here? Wrong button. We are getting a bit faster. I'm going to put some speed brakes in. Okay. Speed brakes retracted. Okay, decel. Okay, more speed brakes, getting fast again. Alright, and And let's go ahead and turn on the exterior lights. Go ahead and get the engine start switches in continuous. Approach checklist complete. FMC speed. Okay, we're down inside of 10,000 feet. Okay, I'm gonna reset altitude down to 3,000. Speed brakes. Okay, decel. Okay, a little more speed brakes in here. A little bit of hand. Let's go flaps one. We're gonna go speed intervene, speed 200. Okay, see Burbank over there. He brakes. FMC speed. Alright, let's go speed 180, flaps 5. Alright, get the hood. Alright guys, so this is going to be a, we're going to do a go around at about 50 feet. So, we'll see how this goes. So here's the procedure. When I say go around, I'm going to press the go around button on the throttles, manually increase thrust to the go around limit, and I'm going to call for flaps 15. Flaps 15, got a detent here so I don't overshoot it. When I know that we have positive rate, I'm going to say gear up and bring the gear back up. And then I'm going to fly, then I'm going to At 400 feet, I'm going to press LNAV. At 1,000 feet, I'm going to press level change. Alright, let's arm localizer. And then I'll set the speed, and then autopilot on. Let's see if we can do it the way I just briefed it. Okay, localizer capture, approach mode. Burbank traffic, good evening. Southwest 1339 on the ILS 8 approach. Well, let's see how it works, man. This is easier with there's 2 pilots, so I'm doing this by myself here. Okay, MCP speed, cloud slope. All right, let's go. Gear down. Speed 160. Flaps 15. Alright, I'm gonna start reducing the final approach speed, 144. Flaps 30. And flaps 40. Okay, before landing checklist, landing gears down, big green, spoiler handle armed, auto brakes max, flaps slats, flaps 40, altimeter's cross check, missile approach altitude is set. Yeah, I know. I'll read the cues as we go through. Okay, looking good here, guys. Altimeter's cross check, we're clear to land. Alright, tell you what, I'll turn the autopilot off, we'll fly it by hand. I'll turn the auto throttle off too for fun. Yeah, I wish I had one, man. This is when shared flight would be nice, because go around is usually the highest workload that I have. Hopefully I don't miss the flap detail when I go flaps 15 here. Alright, speed brake is definitely armed. I don't know what that thing's on about. Okay, wind 058 at 6. On speed. Check.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue. Alright, I'm gonna double tap the
Approaching
toga
A.
switch here too, because we're gonna be doing this kind of low altitude. Alright, don't screw this up, don't screw this up.
500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50.
Go around.
40. 30.
Left 15. Level change, autopilot. Nope, didn't like it. Alright. Flaps 5. Autopilot's on. Burbank traffic, Southwest 1339 on this approach for runway. We'll fly publish for a little bit.
Thousand to go.
Check. Okay, flaps 1. Gears up. I swear I put the gear up. See, that's why I need a co-pilot. Yeah, I was like, man, why is it so loud in here? I swear I hit the gear handle. I guess I didn't. Oh well. Everything else went more or less okay except for that. Alright, let's sequence in another approach here. And we'll do from final on this one. There we go. Oh, did I activate that? Do I need to? Yeah, we're good. Alright, so that went okay, except for the gear. Autopilot wouldn't come back on, but I'm sure I had something misconfigured, but I would say for the most part we were fine. So what we'll do is we'll make this right turn towards Ventura, and then we'll start heading down to 3,700. I'll come back around, pick up the ILS, and fly this to full stop landing on a second time around. Okay, that should be our turn to Ventura. Cool. I'm gonna be descending here in just a second. So let's go speed altitude. Tell you what, let's make it an even 3,000, and I'll go ahead and go vertical speed. About 500 feet a minute down. MCP speed. Speed 200. Yeah, probably. What is this terrain up ahead? Tell you what, we'll level off of 4,000.
1,000 to go.
Level off of 4,000 until I make that turn. So we're more or less kind of on a downwind for runway 8 at Burbank. I'm gonna get out to about here, and we'll keep once I clear this train ahead, which does seem pretty high. We'll make a right turn and come back around and pick up the ILS again. I wonder where this guy's coming in from. Honolulu. Okay.
$2,500.
There's the terrain. We should be okay. Alright, I'm gonna go speed 180, flaps 5. We're getting a little close to that terrain, huh?
$2,500.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna go heading select. Once I get over this mountain thing here, we'll go ahead and head down to 3,500. And let's go ahead and do vertical speed.
1,000 to go.
500 feet a minute. Alright, so this landing is not going to be my softest. I need to get this thing on the ground as quickly as possible and get on the brakes because we have no runway to spare here. So it's going to be a firm landing. Don't expect a whole lot of. There's no butter going to be churned on this thing. You gotta stop it quick. Okay.
2,500.
Airfield sight. How are we doing on fuel? 6,500. We're good. Plenty left. Alright, let me go ahead and sequence this in here. And I'll tell you what, I will use LNAV to turn me into the ILS here. So LNAV. Okay, I'm gonna arm localizer. Okay, localizer capture, approach mode. Okay, wind 0456. Burbank traffic, Southwest 1339 on the ILS runway 8 approach. Burbank. Okay, glide slopes live. Okay, glide slope, gear down, flaps 15, speed 160. Alright, final approach speed 143. Flaps 30. And flaps 20. Landing checklist, landing gear down, big green. Spoiler handle is armed. Auto brakes max. Flaps 40. Altimeter's cross check, we're clear to land. Alright, let's try it again. This time, intention is full stop landing. And auto throttle. Wind 0606. Burbank traffic, Southwest 1339 on final, runway 8.
$1,000. Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue.
Approaching 8.
Okay, I'm gonna get a little low on the glide slope here.
Two 100. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
3,000 feet remaining.
Nope. Come on, reversers.
2,000 remaining.
Whoa, no reverse, huh?
1,000 remaining.
Come on, baby, slow down.
500 remaining.
Oh
80 knots.
boy, that's not what I wanted. Ah!
100 remaining.
Ah! Woo! I got it. Oh boy. That was not great. What is going on with my reversers, man? They're like backwards. Wow. So, this is the second time now I've seen this happen where my reversers are backwards. See? What happened there? See, that should be reversed, and it's like it's 180. Ugh, that was not what I was hoping to do. I just wish my reverse levers were working correctly. That's the second time that I've seen this happen where they're like... That is really weird. It really threw me off, man. Because I hoping to go into max reverse, and then instead I got that. It's either down, but they're showing us in reverse. Well, I tell you what, since they're like this, we'll just back up a little bit here. Try to get back on the taxiway, huh? I'm gonna have to figure out why my reversers keep doing this. I didn't even run my landing checklist here. Well, I wish I could say this was a really nice landing, but it wasn't, so. Alright, that's the land checklist. Spoilers, flaps, Wixer is off, engine start switches. Okay, clock, snap trim. And parking checklist, transponder, Standby. APU gens 1 and 2. Fuel switches off. Jammer off. Packs off. Okay. Probe heat. Window heat. IRUs. IRS is off. Yaw damper is off. Pumps. Fuel pumps. Beacon lights off. Parking brake. Released. And APU off. Well, wish I could have given you guys a better landing, but I'm going to have to go back and look at some stuff here. I have a feeling I know what's going on with this reverse thrust stuff. So I'm going to take a look at this. And yeah, other than almost overrunning the runway here, I hope you enjoyed the flight. I'll figure this out, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.